Oh, how's it going, guys?
Nice
Welcome back
intro.
to another TG podcast. I would say happy Monday, but if you're Arsenal fans, not really happy Monday today because listen, we're gonna have to talk about the weekend result. 2-0 defeat to Bournemouth, man. So I haven't really got over it. And of course, we do have a game tomorrow night, guys. Straight away. We gotta get back to it straight away. Champions League football tomorrow against Shakhtar. We're gonna be going through that as well. But yeah, thanks for tuning in as always. Make sure you get your comments in down below as well. We've got Rory and Seb. Rory and Seb? No, we ain't got Seb. We got Rory and Dom, of course, with us
Arteta
tonight.
out. Arteta out. I'll channel my intercept. Don't you worry.
I'll ask you guys how you doing. Well, actually, how you guys doing other than, of course, Arsenal for now?
Oh, bro, I'm pissed off still. It's just
Yeah.
been a horrendous weekend as a whole, and yeah, it's just yeah.
I'm still trying to get over a nightmare I had. I mean, I had a dream on Saturday, which can't have happened yet, but we lost 2-0. And I'm just oh, yeah, I'm all right. I mean, I'm a family man, so you kind of have to sort of recover quite quickly. But if you're just asking me from an Arsenal point of view, it's not been a happy couple of days, is it?
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I mean, let's get right into it, man. What went wrong, guys, against Bournemouth, man? Where do we even start? I mean,
I thought we've only got an hour.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly, guys. We can be all day, mate. But no, honestly, like real talk. I think interesting lineup to start with. I'd say playing those three in the midfield. At first, I was like, let's just see how it works out. Let's see how it works out. But playing Marino there alongside Pie and Rice, I think clearly didn't really work at all. For being real with it, I don't really want to see him do that again. To be honest with you. And obviously, yeah, honestly, I thought that even the first 20, 30, before even dismissing the red card, guys, before the red card, it was a very slow, sort of cagey start, against Bournemouth. And full credit where credit's due to them. I think they've got a good manager. He's very well organised, has them very well, very good tactician, I'd say as well. And he made it frustrating for us, especially in that first 20 minutes. But then the red card happens, guys. I think you got to look at two ways. Trossard for me, playing a really, really poor pass, sort of playing them through on goal. It seemed like, and then
It was a great assist.
Saliba. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Look, I literally like, you're trying to play Evan Nelson through on goal, like getting an assist. All this is crazy, but Saliba has
Bro, Halloween's next
vision.
Thursday. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's
It's
mad.
just
It's mad. But yeah, I mean, and then obviously Saliba's made that decision, man. And look, I think we all sit there is a red card. I know what we saw yesterday in the Chelsea game. They did the exact same thing. They got a yellow card, but once again, we're gonna be talking about the whole stream about referees. So I just think, yeah, yesterday there's no consistency. I think we all know this, but it was a red card, and that obviously changed the whole game around us. Two other times this season, man. This is our third red card this season, and obviously that changed the game around completely. Again, I think some of the decision making was poor. Taking off Sterling, I would have kept him on for a bit of pace. I would have took off Trossard instead, personally, and then Martinelli, and then go with a bit of pace to try and hit Bournemouth. And yeah, and then obviously after that, that second half, I still had a bit in my mind thinking we can nick this there, and we almost did, guys. Martinelli off the bench. I think that chance goes in. I think it's a different game. And I really think, we go and win the game and hold on maybe 1-0 to the Arsenal. But, we didn't. It's football. A minute later, they get a corner. Poor defending for me on the corner as well. It's a great finish, yes, but honestly, poor defending, 1-0. And then Kivior, making a poor back pass, gives away a penalty. They make it 2-0. And, very, very bad result. Very, very overall poor performance. Very bad night for Arsenal. Yes, it's only 8 games in now, and yes, the season, it's not over yet. But you have to be going and winning these games, in my opinion. These are games that we'll look back on and feel like we did last season, like a Fulham game. This very similar feeling for me. But I'm gonna come to you, Dom, first, mate. what was your overall assessment of that game, and what went wrong for Arsenal, do you think, man?
I think you summed it up really well in terms of what happened in the game. I mean, the red card, obviously, the turning point, but I don't think we were great before that. But I think, if you're going to sum it up, poor performance, poor result. I think you were exactly right. Tactically, I think we got it wrong. I said before the game, I wouldn't want to see Marino, Partey, Rice, because I worried that the three were too similar. It was all physical, all sort of run with the ball. I know Partey can play it through the lines quite well. Marino has that ability, but there was no creative spark there, and I think you could sort of see that. And I didn't really want to see the Trossard-Havertz sort of central partnership broken up. I think I said I would have either gone Wanthear or I probably would have gone the Trossard, Havertz central, and I'd have gone Jesus wide right, Sterling wide left was probably how I'd have lined up, with Moreno probably missing out just because of how Partey and Rice have started the season. But he didn't, and I think he was probably too conservative at 30 minutes to go. At 30 minutes gone with after the red card, and I think that's probably, if I was going to maybe one. I'm not going to kill Arteta for one game, right? I think that's daft. But I think if I was going to take one lesson that Arteta probably needs to learn from these opening 8 games is you're missing Odegaard, so you're missing your creative spark. I don't think you fix that by going more defensive. Good as our defense is, I think our defense is good without having to try and go more defensive. Just take that extra risk in midfield and go that little bit more attacking is how I would have gone. In some ways, that's what we did in our previous games in terms of Trossard, Havertz. I got why we went more defensive against, Man City. I think we probably could have been braver here, and we could have been braver against Brighton, and maybe you see something different. But I mean, it's a bad day at the office. It's, as you say, it's nothing that I'm going to panic about. No one
Yeah.
played well. Arteta didn't get it right on any level. But I think we'll probably see more games like this season, not just from us, but from Liverpool and City. I think this feels like what I would describe historically as a more normal season. You won't see those anomalies, as it were, when you sort of see Liverpool going 100 points, not winning the league, City going 100 points. I think this title was run with less than 90 points. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be, and I think we will see more of those. But that's not to make excuses for the result. It was poor, and it's definitely a setback. I don't think it's over, but they're the type of games you've got to win, even with 10 men, right? You need to win those games. So it's a disappointing day, but we just have to move on to Shakhtar, to be honest, and put it right against Shakhtar and take that positive momentum into Liverpool.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, very well said. That's the key now. Look, we've lost our first game this season. Now it's about bouncing back against Shakhtar, getting that momentum going in, because what we don't want, if we drop points to Shakhtar, if we don't get a good result, going at Liverpool game is the momentum, and obviously without having Saliba now suspended, Timber maybe doubtful as well. It's going to be a lot of changes to happen, and sort of momentum as well. We have to go in there, fully bouncing back against Shakhtar. But Rory, bro, what is your overall thoughts on that result and performance versus Liverpool?
Yeah, probably the worst performance of this year, let alone this season. Yeah, what more is there to say? We were woeful from minute 1 to 90. Let's have it right. We were shocking in the opening 30 minutes before the red card event happened. So I'm not making that as an excuse. And I was still expecting us to go and win the game, even with 10 men. Like Liverpool did it last season against Newcastle. So there was no excuse for Arsenal to, other than going down to 10 men again. But look, simultaneously, it's Arsenal's fault. Yeah, I don't know what to say. We've been cooked by a team with Cook in their midfield. How embarrassing is that? And it stems from the manager. I'm sorry, but that result is on the manager. This doesn't mean I want him sacked, right? These lot have to stop having their sex pants around their ankles, like every time making dramas about the manager whenever he gets something wrong, and apparently you're not allowed to criticize, and when you do, you want him out. No. Against Bournemouth, at the weekend, he was at fault. Not just with the lineup, which I was concerned with from the off. Right, I was hearing Arsenal fans before the game going, "Oh, perfect lineup." I pointed out straight before the game, 3 holding midfielders. 3 holding midfielders. No creative midfielder whatsoever. It's like studying for a COVID test. It's utter pointless. And then the substitutions, oh my God, don't even get me started. The substitutions, he brings off Sterling, which, in my opinion, I don't think that was the right move. Now, who's frustrating the life out of me? But that was not the right change, in my opinion anyway. He has good stats against Bournemouth recently. Like, if you sort of dissect his stats recently against, as I said, Bournemouth, they're decent. So perhaps, I'm not saying we would have won the game, but we would have got something out of that right-hand side because we had nothing. And every time we did attack, we were going down the left-hand side, which has been a problem for over a year. So taking off Sterling was the wrong move, in my opinion. I think Trossard should have been hooked after that horrific pass. Why the fuck are you going 30 yards backwards when you're in your own half? You're an attacker. And as I said, Halloween's next Thursday. Trick or treat, more like prick or treat. What is that? Seriously, I don't care if it's Trossard and everyone loves it. At the end of the day, I treat every single player like they should be treated.
Sorry to interrupt, Rory. How long have you been working on prick or treat?
But yeah, in all seriousness, right? The moment Martinelli missed that opportunity in the second half, I knew Bournemouth were either going to score to make it 1-0 or it was going to end 0-0. It was going to go one or two ways. Bournemouth will win the game 1 or 2-0 and it was going to end 0-0. That was the chance for me. And lo and behold, 2 or 3 minutes later, what happens? They score with a smart set piece. I've got to give it to them. But Christie, whatever his name is, he's given pretty much the whole of the Vitality Stadium to nestle that in. Like, come on. He could have whipped out a deck chair with a jam sandwich, waving to his missus in the upper stand, and still managed to finish that.
Well, hang on. He could have finished the jam sandwich and then finished it.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a joke, and the fact this manager had the arrogance to bring on Wineri and Jesus, which should have happened, I'd say, 25 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
He didn't bring them on until we were 2-0 down. Why? And then he goes into his post-match interview. Oh, don't even get me started on his post-match interview. Right? He's blaming everything else but himself. He goes on to say there's, 2 errors? 3, if we're correcting him here, like 3 errors, including your shitty lineup, Mikel. When Emery did this, we wanted him in a ring with Bret Hart, for fuck's sake. But here we are in 2024 playing 3 holding midfielders away at fucking Bournemouth. Now, I don't want him sacked, but if he does not cut out this arrogance, then he can fuck off too. Because there's no way I'm sitting here 5 years into a process with no trophy to show from it. And of course I want him to win a trophy. But at the moment, it's just season after season where his arrogance kicks in. Don't forget, he got away with the same thing last week against Southampton. We're forgetting that. Setting out with Partey at right back, fucking Havertz back in midfield, but we got away with it because it's the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
The following game against Bournemouth, again, square pegs round holes. 3 holding midfielders, which effectively cost us points. I don't care what anyone says. And look, in my opinion, right, in terms of the squad not being good enough, right, and to some extent, I think it still isn't good enough to win us a league title. But I think this is partly down to Arteta not trusting most of this squad. He's not trusting most of that bench. Right, Waneri, why loan out Vieira and Smith Rowe when you've got Waneri, who you've promoted from the senior, not from the senior team, but from the academy to the senior team, and you've not started him once?
Yeah.
Moreno, I mean, bro, I'm not going to go too harsh on him, but yeah, he's not a number 10. And of course, these happy clappers are going to, come out and say, oh, he played number 10 for Spain. I couldn't give a monkey's toss where he plays for Spain. Right? The intensity is much lower on international duty. It's an international friendly. And I'm pretty sure he was alongside a much more balanced midfield. Right, Fabian Ruiz was behind him. That's a proper box-to-box midfielder. We had 2 defensive midfielders behind Moreno.
Yeah.
So, look, if you're Waneri, you're sat there thinking, well, what more can I do? What more can I do to get in ahead of Moreno, who's not even a creative midfielder? And look, I'm not buying into this agenda against, Sterling and that, because quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Right? But these fans won't obviously target the likes of Trossard and Saliba because they're fan favourites. That's what really does piss me off about this fan base. Moreno, Sterling, when he's hardly played. And
Yeah.
to some extent, you've got to feel for the guy.
Yeah.
Because he's had one start against Southampton where he got hooked. And second game in a row he started and he's been subbed off. Not because he had a stink or anything, but because we're down to 10 men. Kivior, don't even get me started on that piece of gorilla shite. That is the last time we are going to see him in an Arsenal shirt. Getting subbed on, and then getting subbed straight off. Yeah. Just, please, put him in the shop window to Serie A or whatever. Ship him off. Not good enough. Bang average. Useless. But that gets me on to my next question. Why did Kivior even come on in the first place? When is Arteta actually going to play with a bit of bravery? Like, you bring on Kivior for Sterling, so you've taken out our attacking outlet down that side, which is our main strength. Like, we always fish the ball down the right-hand side. You bring on Kivior, so you revert to 5 back, like we do every single game we go down to 10 men.
Yeah.
But, hold on, we've got 3 holding midfielders already. We've got Moreno, Rice, and fucking Partey. So we could just revert to a back 3. We've still got White, Gabriel, and Calafiori on the pitch. So, look, you take off Sterling, it will make more sense to perhaps bring on another attacker. Or Waneri in midfield to provide a little bit more balance. Right? Because there was no need to play 3 holding midfielders against Bournemouth. And at the end of the day, our manager's just been outsmarted by fucking Alfred Molina. Sorry, these are the sort of games that cost us last season. And you can say I'm overreacting, but it just feels like a carbon copy of what happened last season and the season before. It's not even the last 3 years. It's 20 fucking years, man. How long are we going to have to fucking wait?
I think
No,
just really. Oh, sorry, Roy.
no, carry on.
I was going to say, I think that's what makes the frustration worse, isn't it? When it's been 20 years. I think just on some of your point, I think this defeat is 100% on Arteta. He has got it wrong for all the reasons you just said. I don't think that taking off your attacker at that point is the right thing to do. I don't think it was right to start with 3 defensive midfielders. I'm not going to criticise Moreno's performance overly in the number 10. I don't think he's a number 10. He's a 6'8". He's not a 10,
Yeah.
and that's why the selection was wrong there. So I'm not at all concerned about Moreno at this point, particularly when he's played so few minutes. And ironically, he probably set up the best chance of the game, which was the Martinelli one. But he's not a 10, and that's where the lineup was wrong. And I also think, you've got to, in some ways, I feel for Kivior. He's made a horrific mistake, and it's the one that people are talking about. The Trossard one, for the back pass for Saliba was just as bad. And I share the frustration that everyone's talking about Kivior, but not Trossard. I think it's both. I think Kivior is better than bang average. I think he's not your starter, right? But I think he's perfectly fine as a squad player. There's no issue there. And look, he's had bad 45 minutes plus that horrific mistake. It's not he played an important role last season in our push for title in that run. So I don't think I'm prepared to bin off Kivior on that one game. The fact he was subbed off though potentially does mean that we might not see him so much. And I think this will probably be
I think
his
that's the
last
last time we'll
season.
see him. I don't think he's playing after that.
It wouldn't shock me if we didn't, but I think at the same time, I think he's that one you sort of bring on to see a game out. Sort of, someone was making comparisons to Rob Holding earlier, but that Rob Holding role, I could see that sort of happening, or him starting in the League Cup games and that sort of thing. But I think he's obviously made a horrific error there, but I'm not prepared to bin him off at this point on that. But I can see the frustration. I get that. But
the thing is, right, Kivior's not good enough, right? And I criticised him hard, right? It's safe to say I was on his case when he made that mistake because of that back pass, right? He gets subbed off literally the moment he makes that mistake. Trossard, however, does the same thing, puts us into all kinds of trouble with that Saliba red card, and he doesn't get hooked.
yeah,
But Kivior does. Now, to some extent, I do feel for Kivior because Trossard's done the same thing. Yes, he got hooked eventually in the second half, but he should have been hooked in the first half after that pass. Right? Let's be totally honest about this.
I actually
Look,
don't think we should have made a
I
change
want to
at
run
all.
through more players,
I don't
because
think we should have made a change at all when Saliba was. I would have just gone through at the back, or if you want, put Rice back in,
yeah,
back at centre half. I think or go to Party at right back if you want to. I mean, I know it's not ideal, but I had some sympathy for the decision to put Party at right back against Southampton because you got Tomiyasu not fit to start, White out, Timber out. You're kind of running out of options at that point. But we did it against Southampton relatively well, to be fair, considering he's out of position. It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't horrific. I'd have probably just done that.
yeah.
White comes in at centre half, and I think Arteta's definitely got this run wrong. There's no question about it. But for me, like I say, I'm not going to be overly worried on the back of one game. I think we've seen Liverpool slip up at Forest. I mean, City damn nearly slipped up yesterday. I think at some point they will. And I just think it's going to be one of those seasons where this becomes more and more common. And I still believe this squad can win the league. I really, really do. I mean, time will tell, and I could be wrong. I mean, hasn't happened since 1960. No, but I really do believe that. But Arteta, as I say, has got this badly wrong. But I think Kivior will have a role to play. I just think it will be a lesser role than it was last season. But then I thought that in the summer.
Yeah. I also want to run through more players because I don't think I've got many players off my chest. David Raya. I mean, bro, he got engaged like 2 or 3 years ago. What am I about? 2 or 3 days ago. and I'm pretty sure that guy was still pissed on the Saturday. I'm not even joking. Not just the penalty gave away, but the amount of times that guy gave the ball away. That's arguably the worst I've seen him.
His distribution was poor.
Yeah, so poor.
Very poor, yeah.
With the Saliba red card, I've already mentioned. Look, I think Trossard is to blame. And look, I don't have any arguments with the red card. I think it is a straight red. But again, how many times do we have to moan about the consistency? How many times? Literally 24 hours later, Tosin does the same thing, last man, and he gets a booking. Now, we wouldn't win the appeal. Simple as that. But if we wanted to show strong evidence for that Saliba appeal on why it should be overturned, that's exactly what we should be showing to the FA.
Or
Because
the one
I'm sorry,
on Saka last year.
There you go. It's just it doesn't make any sense. And of course, I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans and neutrals even as well going on about Colwill was close to tossing all of that bollocks. The letter of the law is last man, you have to go. It's the same with Saliba, right? Ben White would have covered, I'm pretty sure. Yes, he was slightly far off from Saliba and the Bournemouth striker, but still, you don't know. Again, just fucking proximity shit. All of this just, oh my God. And then, of course, you see Gravenberch delaying the restart by kicking the ball away in that same game. And you're like, just at the end of the day, I've got to a point where we get a red card. I'm just going to be like, well, they've sent him off because he's in an Arsenal shirt. It's a red, but he's sent him off because he's in an Arsenal shirt because there's no fucking consistency whatsoever in this league, right? Even the Manchester City game, right? With the Saliba straight red card, the referee got told in his ear after initially giving him a yellow card to check the screen. What did he do? Overturn it. In the Man City game, the following day, the goal gets disallowed, I believe. No, it doesn't get disallowed, does it? The referee eventually gives the goal, but VAR clearly thought otherwise and went, yo, you've got to check the screen here. What does the referee do? He sticks to his decision. So it just doesn't make any logical sense, right? With that game on Saturday and the fact Saliba got sent off, there's just no point having a referee there. There's no point if VAR are just going to intervene like that.
So I don't know what you think, Josh, but I think for me on the red card, I think the Arsenal one and the Chelsea one, I think they're both subjective decisions there on whether you think there's cover getting across, yes or no. I happen to believe that both are probably, to me, yellow cards. I think the distance out should put that little bit of doubt in there. So I think, I think that by the time that ball bounces and the Bournemouth striker, Evan Nielsen, I think it was, sort of gets that ball under control, I think Saliba's obviously out of it because he's made the decision to bring it down, and he's given a referee decision to make. It's a mistake, fine. But I think Ben White can get across there. I know he's a long way away, but he can come on that diagonal because I think that ball's got to come down and he's got to get it under control, and that will slow Evan Nielsen down. I think Colwell is closer to. Was it Nicholas Jackson that was running through when he? Sorry. I can't remember who it was. Jota running through, sorry, for Liverpool. Had a moment there, but also that ball is much lower, and Jota doesn't have to slow down so much to get that ball under control. So I think probably for me, I would have given both a yellow card. I think had the referee in the Arsenal game sent Saliba off, I would have no complaints whatsoever, straight red.
Yeah.
I just don't think that this, for me, is a clear and obvious one where VAR needs to get involved to say you want to have a look at this one. I've no problem with the decision overall that he sent
Yeah, I
off.
agree.
I'm not arguing with that at all. It's a foul. He's given him a decision to make. I'm not arguing. I just don't think that the bar for a VAR involvement there was necessary, because I think there is an element of doubt there about White, just as I think the same in the Chelsea game. But I can live with the inconsistency on that one, because I think that's subjective decisions where you'll never get the same decision with two humans seeing the same thing every time. I do think that the kicking the ball away one, I said at the time I felt the White one was ridiculous, but I don't want to see
Yeah.
players getting yellow and red cards for that all the time. So I can live with players kicking the ball away and not getting yellow cards now, depending on how they kick the ball away. But I think there is a legitimate concern and anger amongst the Arsenal fan base about the consistency of this. I've always believed that it swings around to actually roughly get it even out over time, and maybe it will. But right now, I can understand how people, what Rory's just said there, right? It's sheer frustration. Just why always me? Mario Balotelli.
Man,
It does.
yeah,
It does feel like that, and I can understand that. And I'm kind of in that place, and I've never really been in that place before. Um, it
yeah,
just
spot
it
on.
it really is starting to feel that way. But as I say, I'm not complaining about the red card. Just to be really clear on that, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and you're given a decision to make. But
Yeah.
and to be honest, I
Also,
don't. Well, I think it was a game-changing point. I don't
Yeah.
think we're playing that. I wouldn't guarantee we win that game before that. I think Arteta would have probably made changes similar to Southampton, or we'd have probably got it over the line. But
Yeah. But
we were not
before it was
playing. We
four,
were
yeah.
not playing well. We were not
yeah.
playing well.
I mean, I'm actually struggling to find any like standout players. Probably Partey
But
or
yeah,
Declan Rice. Now, I'm going to say this now. I think Thomas Partey, low key, is having a very underrated season, because recently I've been really impressed with him.
I
So
agree, Josh.
Partey haters in the
Rory, sorry.
comments, you can cry. You can cry me a river, okay? Because
even when he played
look,
right back against Southampton, I don't think it was that bad.
No,
yeah,
he
he was
wasn't.
good. I'd say he was one of our best players
Yeah.
that day. And I think recently he's been one of our better players. I'm not even going to lie. And I can mention, but the opening games he looked a bit slow. Well, obviously, because he was sidelined for 4 to 5 fucking months.
He's also
Yeah.
a player that needs to play and be sort of. He needs to keep playing well. I think my concern about part of this season would be, let's say Moreno starts with Rice, and I think that's the plan. I think that's what will happen. Is that
Yeah.
you're going to see Partey out for 2 games, in for 1 game, out for 2 games, in for 1 game, and I don't think that suits him. I think there's an argument there with Declan Rice. People say about resting him, and I don't disagree entirely. The problem with Rice is his body kind of needs to keep going, because it's what makes him play so
Yeah.
well.
I mean, Rice
And I
tried.
think Partey's one
He
of those
tried.
players. Rice and Partey were the best players. Havertz gave it a
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Look.
I mean, he wasn't brilliant, but I'm not gonna kill
No,
him
no,
for
no,
it
no, no, no,
either.
no, no.
But I'll tell you what though. Did you see Wanyery warming up? I thought he looked super warming up.
I didn't see him
That was
warming
probably
up
the standout
once, to be
performance,
honest with you.
wasn't it? I'm joking.
Yeah,
I was making I was making a point that no one played well, but I'm
yeah.
looking at the subs warming up and going,
No,
that was probably the highlight.
no, you know what, Dom? I don't know if you remember this, but the camera panned over to Arteta and Airport Albert, and
He
Wanero
looked
was
like
just sat there
crying.
like, what the fuck do I have to do to get on the pitch? Like, I felt so sorry for him.
He's
He was
got to
like,
start. He's
what
got
am
to
I
start
doing
Tuesday,
here?
innit?
It's like he's just being given a detention. I'm not even joking. Oh my days. But as I was saying, I think Partey's having
Yeah,
a
he's got lines. He's got lines. I must play number 10. I must play number 10. I must play number
yeah.
10.
But I was gonna say, like, Havertz, I can't really bash him too much, really, because again, no service. The
No
same way I
service. Yeah.
can't bash Sterling, because we have Moreno as the creative midfielder, the right back's not overlapping, and I hear all this gimmick about, Saka would have done, X, Y, Z. Not without a creative midfielder. At least Trossard in that number 10 was, the creator. Moreno, no.
And I'd have had more confidence of something happening with Saka on the pitch over Sterling, but I think that's the point about your starter and
Yeah.
your backup, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is,
I,
you can't
I,
exactly go. You can't exactly judge Sterling after, you know, the start he's had. Like, he's made 3 starts for Arsenal. He's very likely to start tomorrow
One
in the
in the
Champions
League Cup.
League. And in one of the starts, he's been sacrificed because we went down to 10 men. That's not his fault. Like, can we just lay off Sterling here? Because it's just embarrassing, this agenda. It really is.
I mean, I
Right?
agree. I agree
Havertz,
with you.
I felt, again, as I said, felt really bad for him because we lumped the ball up to Havertz, right? Holds it up really well. He looks right, he looks left. Who's there? There's no fucker whatsoever. Like, he has to do everything by himself because there's no outlet. There's no one on the right hand side.
That's where I
There's
agree.
Trossard on the left.
That's where I agree with you, Rory. When you took Trossard off, there was no one up with Havertz and there was no pace.
I don't know
what you really. And that's why the sub should never have happened for Kivior coming on. And I'm not dissing Kivior here. Look, he's made one mistake and had one poor 45 minutes in an Arsenal shirt. So I think some of the criticism coming his way is over the top. He is a squad player. That's his level. He's a squad player. But but what you need there is, if you're making a change, you maybe do Trossard for Martinelli at that point if you think he can run that far. Probably not. You probably make it later, and you just try and get something going down there, and you still got your three
as
going
I
forward.
mentioned, but as I mentioned at the start, like, we were relying on that left-hand side because we had no one on the right, which is our strong point. No one on the left. Sorry, we had players on the left, just no one on the right. So we had to spray the ball out to the left. Every single attack, when we went down to 10 men, went down that left-hand side. Yeah. And that is an issue that has been reminiscing for how many months now?
Facts.
Like, that is an embarrassment that we had to rely on our left-hand side, which, as I said, has been an issue for months now, to get something out of the game.
I actually think that our left-hand side is looking stronger this year, by the way.
Simple.
I'm less worried about our left-hand side this year. I think it looks stronger with Calafiori. I think Marino coming in. Martinelli's been much better this year. I've no problem with that. I think the issue I had this time was not relying on the left-hand side. It was relying on a moment of magic because we didn't have enough going forward, because we didn't have enough attacking players on the pitch.
Yeah. Also,
I think that was my issue.
The fact Sterling and Trossard were the only players that weren't over 6 foot in that team, yet we didn't score from a set piece. I can't lie, right? Declan Rice has been a joy when it comes to corner kicks, but I can't lie, I think that purple patch has sort of faded away. I don't know if you're thinking the same thing, but I can't remember the last time we scored from a Declan Rice corner. All of them have been from Saka. And I see why Declan Rice has been taken off corners for, the right side. But because Saka's not there, Declan Rice was on corner duty. We had players like Moreno, Rice, Partey, Gabriel. You know what I mean? We had these big units in the 18-yard box. Havertz is another one. Still couldn't score from a set piece.
I'd rather see Rice in the middle, but that is what it is. What it is now. I think you just got to look forward now, and I still think this side can win the league. I really do. I mean, I could be wrong. I really still feel this side is there. It can win the league. I don't think City was strong, and I think you're going to see results like this for Liverpool, us, and City this season. I don't think the league is as quite. In some ways, it's stronger, right? Because I think there's more teams that can do this, and I think the top have been caught up a little bit this summer with where the market was at. They didn't sort of bring in those superstars this year. They didn't tend to move that much across Europe, and that's closed the gap, right? Because it's easier when you're 4th, 5th, 6th to find a player that improves you, but harder when you're in the top 3. And I think it was one of those windows. I think Arsenal, Liverpool, and City will move away again next year after the summer window, but I think this season will be much closer, and I think you'll see sort of 85-ish points win it, and I think you'll see this sort of result. As I said, Liverpool have already had one. We've now had one. I mean, arguably 2 with Brighton. And I think City have been damn lucky not to have one so far. And I think at some point that luck will run out for them.
Also, this is a good point, though.
And that's the silver lining. That's the silver lining.
This is a good point
from the weekend. It's a thin silver lining.
It also stems from the bad window as well. because I still maintain the window was poor.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because look, we still signed the likes of Moreno. We still addressed the key areas, but we didn't do it enough. We didn't replace Nketiah. Like when Havertz isn't working out, who's there to come on? Jesus, but we throw him on the right because he's not a centre forward. So who's there? Oh no, we got rid of Nketiah, didn't we? Which was the right decision as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, we have no striker to cover Havertz because Jesus has been shifting as that, right winger, as I'd say Saka's backup. Who's our Erdegaard backup? Wineri, right?
Well,
Doesn't even get a
not
game.
playing.
I mean, who's our Saliba backup as well?
I don't think the summer window was.
Look, I've been saying this. Like, Timber's not gonna play every single game this season because ACLs take time to, you know what I mean?
I think on Saliba, there's a clear backup there, right? I think you can do Timber or White, and I think if you're right on Timber, you don't want to overexert him this season. But you've got Tomiyasu. I mean, he's got to get fit first, obviously. But look, you've got that in place. I think Wanyery, he's got to start tomorrow, and
Oh,
he
he
should
should
have
do.
for
He's
me
better.
started. He should have started on Saturday,
100%.
or Jesus should have started on Saturday. And he should have at least got 1 or 2 starts so far this season for me. I wouldn't be starting him that often. I think, you want to ease him in, ease expectations. He's a 17-year-old lad still. You don't want to sort of go, hey, here's a new wonder boy.
Yeah,
But, and I don't think the summer window, by the way, was poor. I think it was average. I don't think it was poor because, as you rightly said, Rory, we addressed the positions. Now, did we get the players we wanted?
yeah.
No, we didn't. And that's disappointing. But I think that's also when you then go for sensible acquisitions like Sterling. We didn't get the winger we wanted. We didn't get the centre forward we wanted. Now, I said in the summer, I would like a centre forward, but I understand why Arsenal aren't moving if Sesko's not available. Because I think when you look at the time, there were concerns about the sort of 3 obvious choices. Osman, expensive, a bit of a brat, not done it outside of Italy. Gyökeres done it in Championship, done it 1 season in Portugal, which is not a top league. Now, I always thought Gyökeres can do it, and I still do, and I think he's probably proved it somewhat this season. But the question marks were there. And Isak, apart from being very happy in Newcastle, and didn't want
He
to
is
make that
very
commute
injury
down
prone,
every day,
to be fair.
he's injury prone. So I can see why Arsenal didn't do the striker, and I can see why they went for Sterling having not got it. So I think that's where you had to put a little bit of context around the window in terms of what is happening. And I would rather Arsenal went for a stopgap like Sterling on loan than went, do you know what, we're going to sign a player on a permanent we don't really want. Moreno, I think, was who they wanted when Zubimendi fell through. He was clearly their second choice. Zubimendi didn't want to come. So I don't think the window was as bad as people made out. What it was not the window we wanted because we clearly wanted Nico Williams. We clearly wanted Sesko. We clearly wanted Zubimendi. Well, 2 of them, all 3 of them decided they wanted to stay where they were. And that was quite common, I think, across for the top sides this season. But the players people wanted didn't want to move. And that's why you didn't see City do a lot. You didn't see Liverpool do a lot. You didn't see Arsenal do a lot. And you didn't see some of the other top sides across Europe do a lot either. And I think that is disappointing now, but I think that context is really important when judging that summer window. And to your point, Rory, we did actually get them all in. Will that be enough? I don't know. I think it probably will be. But that will be the obvious criticism, and I think a justifiable and understandable criticism if we don't get it
Yeah.
over the line.
I
I can understand that, but I just think
I
that context is
was
important.
hearing something about Vlahovic this January.
No, please no.
I
I don't.
mean,
Just not for me.
yeah, I've not rated him for about a year now. I can't lie.
He's having a good season at the moment, but I think he's. I would call it. I describe it as a
Yeah,
purple
I
patch.
think that boat has
He's
sailed.
missed it.
Why
Yeah,
don't
Really
they go back in for him?
yeah,
though?
I do too.
Didn't he reject us before?
Yeah.
I don't think he ever wanted us. I think he was Arsenal's name was sort of being taken in vain to get Juventus to up the price and to get the contract a bit higher. I mean, I could be wrong. Just my view. If you look back at the reporting at the time, hardly anyone was saying they can't back up the rumours that Arsenal bid for him. They can't get confirmation from Arsenal. No one could, and that makes me think that now Arsenal, of course, on the other hand, notoriously secretive about doing their deals and not saying what they bid and who they haven't bid for. So it could be just Arsenal not saying anything. But you couldn't see a lot of reliable reporting around a bid at the time, which makes me think, was this just talk to get Juventus? And he was always clear he wanted to go to Juventus, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way,
let's,
just before you do move on, I know you've only got 10 minutes, but I just need to get this off my chest.
Yeah, sure.
Quickly. I keep hearing, right, all over like my timeline, what phase is slotting? What phase is slotting? Like, every fucking time, and it's
you've been waiting for this all day.
Really grinding my bollocks, right? Postecoglou, same position. I'd say around this period. You can say Slot won 7 out of his first 8 games.
Spurs were unbeaten until November, weren't they?
Postecoglou was unbeaten until November. What happened? Their season crumbled. Have you seen Liverpool's fixture list from now until... Yes, they beat Chelsea, but I don't think this run is going to last. I really don't.
No. I agree, Rory. Liverpool's fixtures where I'd be impressed. AC Milan was a really good performance, and I think a good win at Chelsea against a good Chelsea side. But I think Liverpool are ahead of Chelsea on many levels right now. I think they've got a better starting 11. I think they've got a better squad. I think they've got a more experienced squad, and they're, to use Seb's hated phases. Liverpool are a phase ahead of Chelsea right now, if not 2. Chelsea are in a good run, but they're their 2 difficult games, because I'm not sure I can even count United as one. I mean, I suppose you're going to a rival, and they were impressive against United, but United were also piss poor, let's be honest. But you're right, they've played no one. Tottenham did this last year. Newcastle did it a few years ago. Liverpool, I think, will fall away. I think Arsenal are sort of doing a little bit of what City did last year, with when you've got your couple of players out, you have a couple of bad performances, a couple of dodgy results. City did it when Rodri and De Bruyne were missing last year. And I'm not using this as an excuse, by the way. I'm just pointing out that this does tend to happen to even the best teams. And that's why I don't think it's time for panic. I would be panicking if we go into the next international break and we put 3 points on the board or something daft like that. But I just don't think we will. And I think at some point City will have a similar sort of issue. And I think the title's between Arsenal and City this year. But you're exactly right. What phase are they in? Liverpool are not going to sustain this. I just really don't think they are. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it irritates me.
This is also a good point as well. Like, what's going on defensively in the Premier League? Yes, we've gone down to 10 men, but yeah, I don't know. We're making the same mistakes week in, week out, it feels like. And we always have to, pull a mammoth out the hat. Every single game, it feels like Leicester and Southampton are the worst teams in the league so far this season, and we had to make a huge meal out of it. I mean, Trossard, he's had such a mixed start to the season, hasn't he? He's saved us 5 points, but he's also cost us 5 points at the same time. Getting sent off against Man City,
4,
and then with a stupid back pass to get Saliba sent off. So,
Rory, where do you think? Sorry, not Rory. You're talking, Josh. Where do you think we are this season after 8 games? What's your sort of? I think there's been some. I think this season has been okay. I think there's room for improvement, but I think I can see where that improvement can come from.
Okay,
it gives me faith.
But it's not been a nice watch.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we were saying it in the watch storm, Rory, in terms of the Bournemouth end of start of the Bournemouth game, right? About in terms of having a comfortable game this season, has there really been one?
PSG?
Maybe PSG.
Yeah,
maybe
that's the only game.
Other than that, the games we've had have been very, very tough, been very, very cagey at times. But listen,
you say it's one bad performance, but was Atalanta a good performance?
No.
Was Leicester a good performance? Was Southampton a good performance?
I think it's one bad performance, several average performance. One bad performance, several average performances, and a couple of good ones.
Yeah, guys, just quickly, because I got to get going. My guy Liam's in that. Big up to him. I'm going to channel in 5 minutes. Just quickly, let's quickly talk about tomorrow's game very quickly, lads. Shakhtar at home. Obviously, Champions League night. Listen, I'm feeling confident for the win. We still got a few doubts with injuries. I don't think Saka won't put in training today. I don't think so.
And
Timber as well, so I don't think they'll be playing. Hopefully, they'll be fit for Liverpool. Sorry, so I expect to see Sterling in there, guys. Obviously, expect to go probably the same defense that we did against Bournemouth. To be fair, with White playing right back. But yeah, it's just game. Listen, Shakhtar, they're well-known sides in obviously Champions League. They've been there many seasons now. They beat Barca last season. They beat Madrid twice a few years ago, so they can turn up against these big sides. Obviously, I know there's a lot going on in their country right now, and they currently sit 4th place in their league as well. They've not had a very good start whatsoever in the Ukrainian league. And also in Champions League, they drew a Bologna 0-0 and Atalanta beat them 3-0. So yeah, coming to the Emirates, obviously we've got a very good home record Champions League. I'll say it's a fortress European. But yeah, let's go. For me, I'm going to go 3-0 to Arsenal. I'm going to go clean sheet.
Shakhtar are 4th in the Ukrainian league. Like, we should be winning this game. With all due respect, but we should be winning this game.
I kind of want another Lons 6-0 last season. I can't.
Yeah, that would do. That would set us up perfectly for the
Liverpool game. But Dom, what's your game going?
I think you're right. 3-4-0. I think it will be comfortable. I think it'll be tight first half hour. I think we'll get a goal, and I think we might just get a few. I think I would go same defence, as you say. I think I'm probably dropping probably Partey just to give him a rest ahead of Liverpool because of the workload on his body. Sorry? What was that?
No, it's just something in the chat, mate. I put butt instead of bit.
I've just seen it. I thought I said something rude for a second. And bring Ranieri in. And I might even give Havertz a little rest and go, do you know what? See if Jesus can get a goal. Because if Jesus can get a goal and then, you don't start him against Liverpool, but that gives him confidence coming off the bench if we need something, I think that's probably what I would do. Or you give Trossard a rest for Jesus. But I think 3-4-0 comfortable.
Rory?
Yeah, we desperately need this. Even a draw, I don't think would be good enough. I think we've got...
No, it's got to be a
win. We should do, and I think we will. No more of this experimenting, Mikel. Just go for a full-strength team. Well, obviously, we don't have our full-strength team at the moment, but the strongest team you can go for,
best available,
pretty much. Right? I'd go same back four. I was hearing Zinchenko's back in training, so perhaps I could see him starting. Because obviously Ukraine and he's got links with Shakhtar Donetsk.
Off the bench, off the bench feels more
I believe he was in the Shakhtar academy. Was I?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I mean, yeah. Go on, finish your side because we've got.
Wait, who's this? Who are you on about?
Zinchenko.
Oh yeah,
he does have Ukrainian links with Shakhtar, so he'll know about them. So
I had a Shakhtar fan on today, Rory, and he was like, because I wanted to ask him about Zinchenko, where does he think's better, midfield or left back? And he goes, he's not a left back, he's a midfielder. And apparently he played cam, not even number 8. He played cam with Shakhtar as well.
He was an attacking midfielder.
Look, we have no number 10 at the moment. If you don't trust Wanthear, then play Zinchenko there. Why not? We're missing that killer pass in the final third, so why not? Although I don't like him, but you can somewhat give him the benefit of the doubt for Arsenal because he's not playing in midfield. But I'll still go Calafiori left back, Ben White right back. Obviously, Saliba's not suspended for the game, so he'll be fine for this game.
I don't think you need to overly rest players because you've got 5 days. Yeah. As I say, Partey might be the only one I'd look at potentially just because of his body.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't go on international duty, did he?
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think I'd probably one of Moreno or Partey. One of Moreno or Partey has to miss out for Ranieri to come in, and I might consider Trossard coming out for Jesus just to see just to try and get Jesus a goal. I think he's in that Martinelli space where he needs a goal, and this is an opportunity.
You know what I'll go for? I'd go for midfield 3, Partey, Rice, and Wanthear. but I can see it being Trossard, you know. I can't line them. Martinelli on the left. I then go Jesus on the right and Havertz through the middle.
Havertz up top.
There we go. And score prediction?
I'd say a comfortable 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. Yeah.
I'll go 4-0 just so
3-0
we don't all
half
go
the
3-0.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I'll put the link in the chat, people. I'm on the Buy and View channel. Big up my guy Liam right now. We're going over there, guys. Show him some support. But yeah, big up everyone who tuned in on all the streams today. Of course, big up Dom. Dom, do you want to tell him the good news? Like your news you got coming next month?
What the news that now I say it on here, I'm going to have to do it. I am, by popular opinion of about 4 people, looking to start my own channel. So I'll see the 3 of you there.
Love it, mate. Yes, the time's come, guys. The time's come. You got to think of a name for it, right?
Next month. I mean, I haven't even thought about how to do a freaking thumbnail yet. How to upload the video,
on.
you know.
That's something.
Well, you know, you say that.
Nah, big up, guys, as always. Thanks for coming on today. Appreciate you guys' time today as well, coming on the show. And yeah, listen, big game tomorrow. Let's get back, let's bounce back. And yeah, obviously Liverpool's a big one on Sunday as well. So look forward to that.
I'll try and follow your stream on the train home.
Tomorrow, yeah?
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll try and follow it on the train home, hopefully. If the internet
nice
will hold.
one. Cheers, man. Anyway, guys, forget everyone. We're getting out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, people. I'll see you tomorrow. Obviously, match day tomorrow. I'll see you there. And I'm on Liam's channel right now. Go and check him out.